This is the beginning of the Midnight Meat Train review. This is a movie starring Bradley Cooper from 2008, and it's based on a story by Clive Barker, who wrote Hellraiser, I think, um, which is, some would say, one of the best horror films ever. I think I reviewed it, yeah, a little while ago, and it's good. Um, I liked this. It had some things I was a little confused about, didn't understand, and some of the shots were just wild. Like the editing style, it felt like it was trying to be very groundbreaking, but this is the kind of thing you sort of look back at, and you're like, oh, some of these shots are cool, but some of them are a little bit too much. Um, I'm going to look it up though on IMDb. The Midnight Meat Train. Come on, you should know. You should know that I want it because I keep typing it in. The Midnight Meat Train. Okay. Anyway, let's see here. IMDb. The Midnight Meat Train, 2008. Like I said, so this is before our boy Bradley Coops. Bradley Cooper was a big time star. He was still, he was getting parts and all that, but he was not huge yet. But he's in this film, and let's just talk about the basic premise, because I had never heard of this. So it has a 6.0 out of 10. I'd probably give this one, like, I like this one considerably more than The Changeling, which has a much higher rating on IMDb than this. It had a 7.2, I think, and I gave it a 5.4. I'll probably give this more than a 6. I like this. It had some problems, which I'll get into, but it was overall pretty fun. Some good gore effects, good CGI for the time as well as for the budget. But yeah, like I said, let's get into the plot. So it focuses around Bradley Cooper. He's our main guy, of course, and he's a photographer, and he does street photography. So one night he's following these guys that look suspicious or interesting or whatever, and he finds them in the subway, and they're mugging and they're about to rape a girl, and he intervenes and stops them, points out the security camera, and they leave. But then as the woman goes on the train, we find out that there's something peculiar going on. There's this guy on this train. He waits till like the last run of the train at like 2:30 in the morning or whatever, and then he kills people on the train. He puts hooks in their feet, hangs them up, and there's like these monsters that I don't know, maybe it's good, like it's supposed to be a mystery, like you're only supposed to see a bit of them, so maybe it's good, but I don't know, maybe they should have shown, like, explained it just a little more, and that is probably my main point. I'll get into a couple of the things I just didn't understand coming up, but for now I'm just focusing on the plot. So yeah, generally they get him on the train, he kills them, he puts them on hooks, feeds them to these like monsters or whatever that have apparently been here for a long time. And I don't want to ruin too much, so that's as far as I maybe should talk about the plot. So I'm just going to talk about some of the things that didn't make sense to me. So there's the character, the Meat Man, or his name's Mahogany, I think, in the film, but let's just call him the Meat Man because he works as a butcher as well as he's the guy chopping up people and putting them on meat hooks. So I think it makes sense to call him the Meat Man. But anyways, where was I going? Oh yeah, so we see at one point, and I don't really understand this, and they don't explain it. Maybe they did, but I didn't catch it. I thought I was waiting and trying to pay attention, so I don't think I missed it, but maybe I missed it if they explain it. But he goes to the bathroom, and he shows his shirt at one point. Underneath his shirt, he takes off his shirt, and we see that he has like these like lumps on him, and he cuts them off. He cuts off the lumps and put them in a jar, and we see that there's like a bunch of other jars with these lumps in them. So this must happen all the time. and I don't really understand. Like they don't explain. Like that never comes back into it really. They don't explain it. It doesn't seem that important to the story. I just don't really get it. Like I thought it would come into it more, so I don't really get that. But it was kind of just a gross out scene, I guess. Um, and the other thing I just didn't understand is there's a point where Bradley Cooper's following the meat man. He's trying to figure him out. He's trying to figure out what's going on, and that makes sense. But then he gets caught by the meat man or the monsters or whatever, and you're like, okay, well then either someone's gonna like free him, like someone's gonna come save him, or he's gonna die and they're gonna, he's done. But they just like put a marking on his chest and just let him go, and I don't really understand that. Maybe the mark means that like he's been marked, so we have him and we're gonna get him later or something. But I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to me. And again, unless they explained it, but I don't know when or if they did that. So yeah, just more. I don't get why he didn't get killed there. Why they let him go doesn't make sense to me. So those are the main things that I don't get about this film, but I did like it. It was fun. It was pretty cool, honestly. I liked the effects in this, like I said, were pretty cool, especially for the budget and the year. The CGI was pretty good. There are cool shots. I say some of them are ridiculous. And I'll talk about a specific one that was really insane. And the fight choreography is pretty cool in this too. I like this movie overall, but there's one scene where they're in the train, the meat man and Bradley Cooper are fighting. And parts of this are cool, but I feel like the shot goes far. It goes too far, I mean. There's the camera like circling around the train, and it's like going in windows and out of windows. And at one point I was watching this and I was starting to get dizzy. It was making me dizzy. I just felt like that shot went along a little too long. It felt too much like, oh, okay, we're trying to make this artistic by doing something crazy. And it was kind of cool, but it was just a little bit much. Maybe if it was just a little shorter, I would have liked it. It was a long shot of like going around in a circle. And, well, this train's moving, so it was like disorienting and like these blur effects with the CGI and yeah, maybe dizzy. So I didn't love that part, but it was kind of cool, to be fair. This movie is pretty good overall. I know I'm nitpicking it real hard, but I did like it. It was the acting was really good, pretty solid all around, I'd say. Let's look at the cast. So obviously Bradley Coops, we talked about our boy Bradley Coops, and Vinnie Jones is Mahogany, or the Meat Man, as I've been calling him, and he's really good too. I've seen him in other stuff, Vinnie Jones, but I can't really place him for what the movies are that he's been. But I've for sure seen him in stuff. I guess I could click his name and maybe it would tell me. Vinnie Jones. Oh, what other movies this guy in? He's in Snatch. That makes sense. I've seen Snatch. And Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels. I think I've seen that. It's been a long time. Oh, he's in X-Men. Which X-Man is he? He's in X-Men specific. Or maybe he's not in X-Men. Maybe just in the movie. Like a villain or something. But he's in The Last Stand. The third one. I think that's the one that most people hate. I remember liking that one as a kid, but whatever. That's not. I'm gonna look at a little bit off topic here. Let's go back to the cast. Roger Bart. So there's a character Jurgis. And okay, this is another thing that was a little weird, but I guess it's a little more excusable than my other points. With Jurgis here, and Jurgis is Roger Bart, and again he's another guy that I've seen and stuff, but I can't really place what things are. So you know what? Let's click his name actually. So Roger Bart. He is an actor. Yes, I figured that out. He's in The Producers. Oh yeah, and American Gangster, which is on the list, and I haven't seen. But I feel like I've seen him in other stuff. That's what he's known for. So those are his most popular thing. I've seen him in some other shit, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Midnight Meat Train is what we're talking about now. So that's Roger Bart. And I was talking about Jurgis, his character. So Jurgis Jurgis. I just want to say his name over and over. Jurgis. No, but there's a part that doesn't make sense because Bradley Cooper is a photographer and he's trying to get his work seen by this famous artist or whatever, art director of a museum or something like that. Whatever, it's not that important. The point is that he's going to an interview and this, I guess the other guy like recommended her, but it's weird to me still that he's just like there with Bradley Cooper waiting for her even though he's the connect. Wouldn't he be like just like, oh yeah, here she is, and maybe introduce them? That's fair, I guess. But then he's just like there the whole time, the whole meeting, and I don't know. I thought he would like leave. I don't know. I guess it makes enough sense. Like it's not that weird. I just thought it was a little bit weird. Cause I would want I would want the alone time. I would want to get to know this person that I admire so much, like Bradley Cooper seems to. And yeah, I don't want to ruin the twist at the end, but the end is cool. Other than the parts that I said, which was basically they didn't explain enough. But yeah, I don't want to ruin too much, so I won't go too deep into detail. So Leslie Bibb plays the love interest in this, or Bradley Cooper's girlfriend, whatever, in this movie, and she's in other stuff. I believe she's in Insidious. I clicked on her name. She's also in Talladega Nights, Iron Man 2, and Law Abiding Citizen. I feel like it's not saying she's in Insidious, but I feel like she's in Insidious. She looks like that woman. Anyway, she was in Mrs. American Pie, About My Father, Robot Chicken, nice. Oh, Jupiter's Legacy, that I think lasted one season. That was like a superhero show. Let's go back down. This is the most current stuff. Where's Insidious? Is it in here? I think it would have been like 2008 or something. Maybe she wasn't in Insidious. Maybe I'm crazy. She looks like her. If it's not her. You know what? We can figure this out real quick. Who's in Insidious? I must know. I bet I got them mixed up. I think I got them mixed up. I totally did. Yeah, who's the woman in this? No, it's different, yeah. Rose Byrne, I think, is the woman in this. I messed up. Oh well, that happens. Moving on, back to the review. So, The Midnight Meat Train. Chugga chugga choo choo. Am I right? Yes. Okay, so I think it's a little bit croaky still. I think that's better. Anyways, I did overall like this movie. It was exciting. There's lots of moments, jump scares sort of, but actually good jump scares, not just like a cat, and it doesn't just rely on the noise, it relies on visuals, which back to Insidious. I don't know why my mind's on Insidious, but I reviewed that one a little while ago, and it relied too much on big loud noises for its jump scares. I don't like that. I feel like it feels cheap and disrespectful to the audience. Anyways, let's go back to the IMDb page. I did not mean to go off of that page. Midnight Meat Train. Let's check out the box office info. See how this did. How would you rate the Midnight Meat Train? I'm gonna say it at the end here. I'm gonna just put my rating in and see if it works. Oh no. Of course it wants me to sign in. No, I don't want to rate it then. I'm doing this review right now. I am rating it. I am reviewing it. No, shut up. I don't want to rate it right now anyway. I'll do it for the show. Nice. 6 out of 10 someone gave it. I would give it, and that's what it has, I think, 6.0 on here. Hugh, you should watch this. You might like this. The Midnight Meat Train. It's based on a Clive Barker story, Daddy. Daddy. Clive Barker. I feel like you'd probably like them, right? And yeah, it's not bad. There's some things that I didn't understand, but it was like pretty good effects and stuff. It's CGI, but for the 2008, it looks pretty good, and it is really, really gory. And they were trying to do new things with the camera work and stuff. So that was cool. But box office information. So this didn't do very well. It had a $15 million budget, and it grossed $3 million worldwide, 3.5 million, and it grossed $83,000 in U.S. and Canada, which is really weak considering the budget. Opening weekend, 34 grand. Not very good. Not very good. But that's too bad, because I kind of like this film. Huey. Sugar Daddy Jones around? Oh, Sugar Daddy Jones is coming. I actually haven't seen this. You should watch it, Dad. You should check it out. It's on Tubi. Yeah, I've seen it advertised, but never got around to it. Yeah, no, I would recommend it for you. It's because it's a sick, gruesome horror film. I think you like horror movies. This is a horror film. But anyways, I am starting to run out of stuff to talk about. That's brutal for that budget. Yeah, it is. It is pretty. That's pretty bad. And it's too bad because it's not a bad film. But I had never heard of this. I don't think there must have been like no money into marketing whatsoever. The budget was probably all on the effects and Bradley Cooper. So that's probably where the budget went. But yeah, it is brutal for the budget, to be fair. So I'm gonna wrap it up, and then we're gonna wrap it up with rap music. Yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna quickly do the recap, the overview of the film before I rate it. Where's my marker? My trusty marker. Here it is. So yeah, like I said, this movie's not perfect. It has some things that just didn't make sense to me, or they didn't explain well enough, or I just didn't get, or whatever. Like the meat man having all these weird like nipply things on his body and cutting them up, and it didn't really go anywhere. I didn't really understand that. They didn't explain that. At least, like, I didn't catch it if it did explain it. As well as why did they let Bradley Cooper go? It didn't make sense. Why didn't they eat him like all the other people? I don't get it. Anyways, I have to go exercise with the Norwegian. Have a good stream, bud. Thanks, Dad. Say hi to Mama. Love you guys. Peace out. Alright, so the Midnight Meat Train. I'm gonna rate it now. I'm going to give it I'm gonna give it a solid 7. I think 7's fair. 7. It's cool, and it's definitely not bad, but it has some problems for sure, or at least some things that I didn't understand or didn't like that shot in the train that kept circling around and coming in and out. It was a little long, and it made me dizzy. So things like that, as well as what I already explained. 7 out of 10 Dougs for the Midnight Meat Train starring Bradley Cooper from 2008.